PPT with you. How many of you do physical exercises every day? How many of you practice? Say yes or no.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Rashi said yes. Who else?
So,
Yes,
Diksha.
sir.
Meditation, Sudarshan Kriya, I'll do, sir.
Okay,
Not physical.
you Sudarshan Kriya. What about others?
Yes, sir.
No,
That is both physical as well as mental. मतलब combined दोनों साथ में होता है, like yoga.
Good, very good. So at least somebody is there. And how many of you intentionally do some mental exercises?
Yes, sir, I do.
Hitesh does. Hitesh already told before asking. So this is very, very important. I'll tell you why. Because what happens, we do physical exercises when we are walking, when we are kind of lifting the things. There is some activity going on. And that is unintentional. That is unintentional that physically we are getting exercised. Okay, let's say you are removing your bed from one place of your room to another place of the room. So this is unintentional. Unintentional exercise. Your main aim is to shift the bed from one corner to another corner. But this is a byproduct that somehow physical exercise is happening. Okay, but how many of you intentionally do the exercises? Is some people do. But when it comes to mental exercises, we don't even think about that. Except some people, we don't even think about what is mental exercise, or really it is needed to make us active or to think in a rational way. We need to follow some practices so that we can activate our brain. We can activate our logical thinking. What this cartoon signifies? This says that in today's world, if you see, it's really very, very chaotic. Okay, you have so many things to think of. And basically, those things, what is cluttering your mind is not letting you experience a particular thing in a specific manner. There's a chaos going on in your mind. And this is with almost everybody. This is there unless and until you are doing some practices to stop it. Like at the same time, it is coming that, this subject exam is there. Even though I am telling you these topics, but many of you might be thinking that, okay, we have exam today. Your mind is going there, or you have encountered a wrong situation with your friend or some family members. You had an argument, and because brain is very, very active, it cannot sit idle. Thought processes are continuously passing through your mind, and these thoughts are random because you have not tried to control them, isn't it? So this clutters your mind, and you are not able to put yourself or focus yourself in the present situation. When let's say I am taking you the class, I don't know how many of you are really listening to what I am saying, and whether this listening is an active listening rather than a passive listening. There's a difference between active listening and passive listening. Okay, so we'll see. You all are blessed with immense potentials. You have so many potentials because whatever is there in one person, it's there in almost everyone. But how you are utilizing those skills or potentials, how you are channelizing them, that makes a person successful or unsuccessful. Another thing, that even though you have immense potentials, your thoughts, your emotions are somehow influencing your potential. You have certain skill and you think that you can do it. Or if you are very much energetic someday, if you are very much happy, if your surrounding is happy, you have encountered some very good people, you have watched a very good movie or something, whatever it is which makes you happy, you know, your energy goes up to perform something. But if you have encountered a bad situation, if your surroundings are not good, or if you have an argument with your friend or with your parents, then what will happen? Even though you are having the same skill, you are not able to perform in fullest. So actually your emotions and thought are indirectly affecting you. We don't realize this fact that our emotions and thoughts are affecting our skill. Our potential is being affected. So why not we try to control our emotions? Why not we try to control our thoughts and practice these things in such a manner so that our skills are enhanced? Isn't it? What do you say?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So there are so many ways, and we are going to see a way which is mindfulness. Because recently I came across, why I am telling you at once about mindfulness, because I went through certain lectures, and they were very interesting, very nice lectures, and I thought that I'm going to share it with my students so that they should also be benefited to some extent. Probably I will not be able to give exactly what I have received, but maybe the crux of that, or maybe a smaller version of that, I would try to present. So this is mindfulness. How many of you have heard about this terminology?
Yes, sir. Heard and yeah, usually practice.
Okay, good. Very good. So mindfulness is something that we do, whatever we do, that should be done with full conscience, like paying attention to the experiences of the present moment. I told you passively, we we listen to so many people, but are we really caring about those? Whatever we are listening, are we caring about those? Whatever we are seeing every day, we know sun rises in the east. Every day we see sun, but do we see sun to see sun, to really experience the sun, to really experience the bright light produced by the sun or energy? Do we really look at the sun in order to get energized by that? Or we just see because it's a routine that every morning sun will rise, but do we experience it? Do we feel it? We don't. Problem is we are occupied. We are occupied with so many things what is going on in our life, and we are so much influenced by those thoughts that we are really not experiencing some of the good things, some of the facts which are actually happening, and it is just passing by. We are not enjoying it. It's preconceived. We have another thing, we have a preconceived thoughts and emotions. Somebody says that, okay, do you enjoy the rain? Do you enjoy just now a very nice breeze is there? Are you really feeling it? Are you really enjoying it? So in order to enjoy that, you have to come out of your cluttery mind, and you have to basically focus on that particular aspects. Be in present. without being judgmental. Means when you, most of the time what happens, let's say we are watching a movie. We are watching a movie, and most of the time some event is going on and we think that, oh, this is going to happen next, or why this person said like this, why not this. Means our thought and emotions are interfering in between. This is our preconceived idea and preconceived notions. And in order to enjoy the life, in order to be mindful, we have to come out of those cluttery things, what we have gained, what it has been gathered throughout our experiences. Okay, because if we are using our experiences for each of the event, what is happening, what is occurring in the nature, then we are biased, isn't it? We are biased. Why we are biased? Because same kind of situation may be good for a person and may be bad for a person. Like, you are, let's say, I am teaching a wonderful topic to you, okay, an interesting topic to you, and one person already is kind of having so many thoughts going on in the mind, and even though he or she is listening, but in a very, very passive manner, so he's not enjoying to that particular thing. Or let's say, I am telling you something, but rather than listening to the fact, rather than listening to the story, rather than listening to the content, you are jumping to the conclusion. That what is the conclusion according to you? No, you don't have to jump onto the conclusion. That is only because you have experienced certain cues in your life, and those have made you to judge something. When you meet a person, meet a person and you talk for some time, you make a notion about that person, whether he is good or bad, isn't it? Why? You had few conversations with that person, and now you are able to judge that person whether he is good or whether he is bad. Really, you are not enjoying that person's presence. You are not enjoying that person's conversation. Rather than you are involved in judging that person. So here is the problem. You don't have to judge. Sometimes you should avoid, you have to train your brain to avoid judging and paying attention to what you are experiencing. Paying attention to what you are listening, what you are seeing, what your senses are receiving from your surroundings, but not being judgmental. That's saying, oh, this is bad. Oh, this is good. No. Oh, I like it. Oh, I don't like it. It's just about, I'm experiencing it. Just try to do sometimes. So what ultimately, why it is required, or how it is going to help you? It is going to improve your personality, make you connected to the nature, and make you realize your existence. How many of you ever thought that this body is not just one? If you just think that a human body is made up of 30 trillion cells, and being a biotechnologist, now you know that we do cell culture. Each cell has the potential to divide, grow, make progenies. So every cell of our body is basically an individual. And this individual is being, you can say, they are staying together But how many times we feel, how many times we realize the coordination or realize this fact that this is our hand, this is my nose, or this is my eye. Means being very much aware of what we are and what is there in the surrounding in a conscious manner is mindfulness. Experiencing it, just experiencing it. Okay, let's take in this manner that we all breathe, but mostly it's unconscious. Except those who have practiced it, like Hitesh told that he used to do meditations and all. So in case of pranayam and all, what do they teach? Because the way we breathe, it is going to have influence on our emotions, or vice versa. Your emotions are affecting your breathing style. Have you seen sometimes somebody gets angry, will start breathing
fast.
very fast? Isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
So
सुदर्शन क्रिया में भी सब आ जाता है प्राणायाम.
you might have experienced somebody is, if you are feeling dull, your breathing rate will go very, very slow. So you can think of that your emotions are being regulated. Your breathing is being regulated by your emotions. At the same time, your breathing is going to regulate the emotions, and emotion is going to regulate the breathing. Both way it's true. So why not we practice our breathing, or just a conscious breathing? When mindfulness is not only about breathing, I'll come to it. Mindfulness is about being conscious for all your sense organs, being conscious of whatever activity you are doing, not just for the sake of performing the activity, but really doing it in a conscious manner. Like, just think that do you have in your mind that how exactly are you sitting? Where are your hands? Where are your hands? Okay. Or like, next thing, what is coming to your mind right now? There is something called unconscious, which is just going, it's passing through your mind. We are breathing, but how many times do you realize that how much are we breathing? Or sometimes when you are very, very quiet, did you try to hear the sounds coming from your surroundings? That depends. Your ears are going to listen so many things. Like, I'll tell you, I'm sitting in my laboratory at this moment. I can see my students, PhD students, they are talking a little bit with each other. That noise is coming, but again, that is unconscious because I did not try to really listen to what they're talking. Second thing, when I'm focusing, then I can make out. Otherwise, this is, you can say, background. This is background. So incubator, the sound from the incubator is continuously there. But since I did not try to listen it in a conscious manner, this is being ignored. Mindfulness is trying to experience the present moment through your senses, through all your senses. You can try one sense at a time, and not being judgmental, whether that is good, bad, that is irritating you, that is giving you a pleasure or anything, just experiencing it, so that to activate all your sense organs in a conscious manner. Okay. So what are the different aspects of mindfulness? First one is attention. Attention to any particular object, any particular thing. This attention could be like hearing certain sound, smelling something. Sometimes just think that, try to smell the things which are around you. Like when you go with your friends to a coffee shop, you just talk to your friends, and just for the sake of drinking coffee, you are drinking it. But do you really enjoy smelling the coffee? Do you really enjoy tasting that coffee? It's the it's the it's the talk between the friends which you are focusing on. But this part you have not focused, isn't it? So sometimes in a day, try to attention on certain things which your sense organs are realizing, which your sense organs are perceiving, but do it in an intentional manner. Do it with full attention. And next is intention. Intention of doing means when you are really willing to do particular aspect. I want to do this thing, then only when you feel that it is good, or you may be benefited by doing this, then definitely you will be intended to do that, isn't it? So attention is just focusing on surroundings, and not only surroundings. Sometimes you can focus on just your own body, because your body is not just one. I told you a human body is made up of 30 trillion cells, and most of your cells are performing in a different manner. Sometimes just focus on your heartbeat. Sometimes just focus on your breathing, and sometimes just focus on how your chest elevation is changing along with your breathing. Recently, I learned this thing also, that making a straight posture is going to help you, because spinal cord is passing through your vertebral column. And most of the times what happens, we sit in an unconscious manner, which makes our spinal cord bend, isn't it? So that affects our thinking, that affects our whole personality. And just by changing the way you sit, your personality may be improved. So sit consciously. Sit consciously. You can also focus on what is going on in your mind, not in a very random manner, because every time some of the other feelings, emotions or thoughts are going on, because the thing is, life is very hectic these days. You have so many things coming to your mind, but just try to focus on certain, not on certain aspect. I am saying sometimes just try to focus on what is going on in your mind intentionally. There's a difference. When you do a meditation, you forcefully try to fix your mind to particular thought or particular idea. You fix it. But what attention for mindfulness is that you just focus on your mind, that at present, what is going on in your mind. Like if surrounding your house, there are trees, there are animals. So sometimes consciously try to listen the sounds made by the vibrating leaves, or sound made by earlier there like if you go to villages and all, then many a times in the night you will see, if everywhere it's quiet, and you will see the sound of cricket. Okay, at this moment also you can do the same thing. Just you have to figure, okay, I'll just try to listen what all sounds are coming, how many different type of sounds are coming from your surroundings. Maybe it's a wind chime somewhere which is getting ignored. But when you are trying to consciously listen to the sound which is coming from your surroundings, you will be able to focus on that. Experience the situation, but just experience the situation without being judging that. Oh, I don't like this sound. This is too loud. This is too light sound. This, or if you are eating a meal, this is also the case. Like, you can practice it anywhere. When in every walk of your life, every act of your life, you can do it in a conscious manner rather than unconscious manner. I'll tell you one example. Like when you are walking, you just sometimes focus on how exactly your legs are. One leg is getting up and another leg is following that. You can just focus how exactly this is doing. When you are eating, many times what happens? How many of you take your meal when you are watching TV, or you prefer to have meal along with TV? How many of you?
So Diksha, me.
You do that. So
Yes, sir.
It's mixed. Like kabhi kabhar ye TV ve kabhi.
what happens, try to see, just try this one, and you may feel the difference that you don't watch the TV, just concentrate on what you are doing. Like, do mindful eating. I am eating, I am chewing it, I am chewing the food. Do it consciously rather than unconsciously. Just putting the meal inside your mouth and involuntary chewing it and putting it inside is not that helpful. If the same thing you do in a conscious manner, it will have some enhanced effect on you. Okay, so try this one. The way you sit, mindful sitting, mindful breathing, mindful walking, mindful eating, mindful listening, anything what you are doing. Maybe you can start with one or two aspects, and then you can increase the numbers, increase the aspects where you can inculcate this mindful thing. Next is, I told you, intention. So you will only be able to perform these acts, mindful acts, only when you have the intention to do that. Like there should be, there should be a willingness to practice mindfulness. If there's no willingness, you cannot do that. Okay, so definitely a willingness is required. Let's see what effect it is going to have on us. Next is, in order to do the mindfulness, these are the different aspects. So presence is very, very required. You have to be in the moment. It's not that you are eating, but you are thinking, oh, morning में यार exam में ये गलती हो गई, वो खराब हो गया. So basically you are not focusing on what you are doing. So you are messing up both the things, your thinking and eating process. And at the same time, so many involuntary actions, which is breathing, is also going on. You are watching something that is also going on. So why can't we be mindful and focus on one particular aspect at that time? Okay. I have written one song, the tagline of one song, Aage Bhi Jaane Na Tu. How many of you have heard this song? Waqt movie. Have you seen Waqt? Old movie. It's not Akshay Kumar's movie. Okay, if you have not heard this song, listen that what it says. Aage bhi jaane na tu, piche bhi jaane na tu. Jo bhi hai, bas yahi ek pal hai. Means your life is now. Don't look your past. Don't look your future. And this everybody knows, but the problem is we don't practice it. We are never in present. We go in past and we go in future. Okay, so be in the moment. That is another teaching of mindfulness. Openness is the last. Openness means try to be receptive, try to accept the situation. Don't be very judgmental, don't be very critical about the things. If some people are there, if it is too cold, they will say, oh my God, it's very, very cold. Oh, it's so difficult. There is that. So when it is too hot, or when it is summers, then again there's a kind of judging that, oh, it's too hot, I'm continuously sweating, it's so uncomfortable. Why? So try to just experience it. No, sometimes be curious, be objective rather than being critical. Don't judge the situation. Accept what is there. Accept what is there. It is there. So just feel it. But don't come to a conclusion. No preconceived notions, just experience it. You can do mindful journaling in order to move towards, if you really want to practice mindfulness, you can do mindful journaling. In case of mindful journaling, carefully try to listen to your sense organs one at a time. Like, I'm giving you an assignment right now. Take a paper and pen, and just write down, focus on one sense at a time. Also, focus on your mind and just listen what is going on. What is going on with respect to that particular sense organ? Can you write down?
Sir, can you please explain this again, sir?
Like
what?
What are your sense organs?
Like
Example, eyes, nose, mouth, ears, skin.
Good. So can you write down, just focus on one sense organ at a time and just write down, jot it down, that what are you experiencing right now? And at the same time, you write down what is your emotional status or emotional feeling at this moment. लिखो सब लोग. So I'll start the session again because the time is getting over. And by the time you join again, you come up with your answers. Okay? Good.
Yes,
do that.
Sir, at what time?
Just immediately we are joining again. I need to show you. So, are you done with the exercise?
Almost, sir, yes.
Yes, sir.
Good. So this is, do you feel some difference? Difference in the sense, you were attending the class and basically you were listening to me, maybe this time consciously, because this is not exactly the subject which I used to teach. So there is some curiosity to listen what exactly I'm telling you. But did you notice that for a time being, you really focused on your senses? How are you feeling? What exactly you are smelling? Okay, what are you seeing? Or what is the emotional status at this moment? So this is only to connect yourself with your surroundings and being conscious rather than doing the things in an unconscious manner. Everything you are performing in a conscious manner. So by practicing this, you are giving a pause to your mind which is continuously working. So many thoughts and emotions are just passing by, and so since it's continuously working and it's working in a very, very random manner, you are trying to make it focus a particular aspect, and that gives rest to your mind and makes it more stronger, more active. Okay. After practicing for a few days, you will be able to find out your predominant thoughts and emotions. If you do this thing, I told you what is going on in your mind right now. If you do it twice a day for a week, at least you will know what are the things which are dominating your mind. A particular thought is coming repeatedly to your mind. So somehow you can train it to go in a particular direction rather than being random. Next is time. There is no specific time to do this mindfulness. As I told you, whatever act you are performing, you can have the mindfulness act for anything. Whether you are sitting, that can be mindful. If you are walking, that can be mindful. You are listening to others, that can also be mindful. You are watching a movie, that can also be mindful. Like whatever act you are doing, just do it in a conscious manner rather than unconscious manner. Your eating can be mindful. You just eat. And when you are chewing, don't do it as if there is something called as when we ride a bicycle, so few things are there automatic. It happens that okay, this paddling is not again conscious. Now we are very much unconscious because it has come to our practice. We are not consciously kind of paddling it. It just reflex, by reflex things are happening. So same way when you are putting food in mouth, it's a reflex that you start chewing it and you put it inside, but you never think of really doing a mindful chewing. If you do that, probably it will do magic. So our mind gets tuned to our past experiences. This is also the thing. When I say that random thoughts are coming to our mind, why this is random again? And why do we react to a particular situation in a particular manner? Why are we being so judgmental about anyone, about a particular situation? Just because we have certain past experiences. On the basis of those past experiences, we have made certain concepts. Anything what comes, we put it on those criteria and then immediately jump to the conclusion that yes, it is good, it is bad. No, this is your experience through which you are saying. But what mindfulness says, that sometimes don't judge. Sometimes don't judge, just experience it, because you should not be very quick in judging also. Let's wait, let's take time. Never ever make your line that, okay, if this is below this, it's bad. If this is above this, it's good. No, it's your perception, your thinking. Okay. So next is, okay, this is another activity. You can try doing this. This is again a mindful activity which you can perform besides what I told you earlier, that you can think of your senses and then you can jot down, or you can focus on your one sense at a time. You can do mindful breathing for few minutes in a day. just focusing on your breathing rather than doing it involuntary, do it voluntarily. Walking also, eating also, drinking also, anything. Next is, can you write with your non-dominant hand? Some people are lefties, some use their right hand to write. Just try writing with your non-dominant hand. Just try writing your full name. Good. So, did it take some effort? Did it,
Yes,
did
sir.
it take some effort compared to writing with your usual hand? Yes.
Lot of it.
Lot of effort, because you became very conscious. You became very conscious of writing. Okay, that I have to write A, I have to write B, like this. So it's not a usual thing for you. So that has made you conscious. So this is what mindfulness tells, and this is one of the things which you can follow. You can, because you know, writing is related to our brain. In order to activate it, going from the usual thing, going away from the usual thing, you can try this kind of practices. So this will activate the other side of your brain. It will inculcate the attention in you. It will increase your carefulness in your actions. Because when we write using our usual hand, like using our routine hand, then we don't care much, because it's a practice, it goes involuntary. Try to do it sometimes voluntarily. So practice mindfulness continuously for a few days, and later it will become a habit of doing things in a conscious manner. This is the basic teaching. Do it in a conscious manner. As such, it's a very big field. I just told you it's just the tip of the iceberg, and maybe you just follow it because I realize that this is really good, and at least it's my duty to transfer it to you, if those of you who have not heard about it. So it enhances the gray matter of your brain. Okay, it helps your breathing pattern, because I told you your emotions are controlled by the style of breathing. Then it controls your emotions, decreases the stress. I told you, be in present. Sometimes be in present, rather than thinking about your past, rather than thinking about what Jack answer will give in the question paper. Okay, so it enhances your performance, because definitely when you are doing anything in a conscious manner, it will enhance your performance. I'll tell you just a simple example. If you do this chewing part, many people, when they take food, they just like, they don't chew it a lot, क्योंकि वो टेस्ट नहीं कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि वो इंटेंशनली उसको च्यू नहीं कर रहे हैं. उनका एम ये नहीं है. उनका एम है कि ओके, मील आया है, आई हैव टू डू जस्ट वन फॉर्मेलिटी, दैट आई हैव टू फिनिश इट. So you are taking in partially digested or not even digested food, because half of the digestion takes place. You are all are science students. Half of the digestion takes place in the mouth. If it goes undigested to your stomach, then it has a lot of after effects. Digestion has not taken properly. Proper nutrition is not going to you. So many things are there. Constipation, this, that, So just do it in a conscious manner and you see the difference. Recent scientific evidences also says that this mindfulness increases your neuroplasticity, means the ability of the neurons to get generated. Science says that there's hardly any regeneration in the neurons. It's very, very low. But if you follow the mindful practices, it has some positive effects over the neuroplasticity. This makes a way to remind yourself about the mindful practices. Ultimately, there's a quote for you guys. True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependent upon your future. कौन देखा है? Next day, you don't even know what is happening. So just enjoy the life to its fullest, being in present. अभी क्या चल रहा है? आज की situation में, whether you are happy or not. So, before I thank you all for listening my thoughts, what I got it from somebody else, I'll tell you one story. Okay. There was a man who was passing by a jungle. He was going to another village, from one village to another village. And slowly it became a little bit dark because it was evening time. And then he heard the roaring of a lion. He got scared. He started running and he realized that lion is chasing him. So he saw his surroundings and he could not think of much. He just climbed a tree. And after climbing a tree, when he just kept on climbing, and when he reached the top of the tree, he lifted his face to thank God that he saved him from the lion. He lifted his head and at the same time, he said, "Oh God, thank God." At the same time, he realized that a drop of sugary liquid has fallen on his tongue. Okay. So he was wondering, what is that? And his eyes were kind of opened too much, like pupil got big. And then at once he realized, when he, I'll tell you about long-term potentiation. When you are there in a dark room, initially when you enter your dark room, you are not able to see anything. But if you wait there for 1 or 2 minutes, if very less light is there, let's say, it's not pitch dark, then you can make out things that, okay, this is here, this is here, this is this corner, this is that corner, so this is the adjustment of the eye. So when he tried to adjust his eyes, he realized, he saw that a big, very big beehive is hanging just above him. Okay. Now, the moral of the story is, problems are there in the life. Everyone has problem. When we think about our own, हमें लगता है केवल हम ही problem में फंसे हुए हैं. Lion is a problem. Somehow he managed to climb the tree, but now he has come to another big problem, that a very big beehive is there. अगर वो थोड़ा सा भी हिल जाए ना, तो मक्खियां उसको काट के मार डालेंगी, मधुमक्खियां. But at the same time, you have to keep enjoying the honey. So this is life. So with this, I'll end this session. I hope you enjoyed it. Any comments, guys?
Thank you so much, sir.
Yes.
Thank
Yes.
you, sir.
पहले टीचर से सबके बारे में बात करते ही नहीं है, तो रियली थैंकफुल टू यू सर। तो ये भी एक इम्पोर्टेंट चीज है, लेकिन इग्नोर कर देते हैं तो सभी लोग।
Really, we
Yes, sir.
should, yeah. Nargis, you are saying something.
सर मेंटल हेल्थ के बारे में कोई बात ही नहीं करता है। इट्स अ रियली बिग प्रॉब्लम।
एग्जैक्टली
Actually,
सर, आजकल
that is true. That is very much true, Nargis, Hitesh. The thing is, I told you, if earlier this was not the concept. Like people used to work upon their physical things, like doing exercises, gym, this, that. Yoga, when they talk about yoga also, they basically practice asanas, isn't it? But yoga is again very like, what you can say, it's not just one thing. It's not asana, rather there are so many different legs. Like if you go for the description of yoga, it's yoga means what?
yes, it is a kind of some mindfulness only कि
No,
और
no,
सर
no,
ये
no. Just how many of you are from Hindi medium? Can anyone tell what is yoga? विकास,
एक जगह होना।
क्या चीज, फिर से बोलो।
यस सर। सर बहुत सारी चीजों का एक जगह होना योग होता है।
हाँ,
Kind of it.
नहीं एग्जैक्टली लेकिन अगर लिटरल मीनिंग पे जाओ ना, तो योग का मतलब एडिशन। और आज भी कोई मैथमेटिक्स की हिंदी की बुक उठा करके देखो, तो वहां पे लिखे रहेगा कि योग 2+2।
योग ना,
योग का मतलब है क्या? इट्स जोड़ना, ठीक।
yes.
सो व्हाट इट सेज, किसको जोड़ रहे हो? अब क्वेश्चन आता है कि किसको जोड़ना है। देयर आर 8 legs,
Mind and body.
yes, yes,
Yes.
yes. So
बॉडी को कनेक्ट,
mind,
सब कुछ
it's not only mind and body.
body.
These are two things,
Sir,
just two aspects.
spirituality, sir.
Exactly. So mind, body, soul, intellect with the supreme power. That supreme power can be anyone, what you feel. The sun can be supreme power, the moon can be supreme power. When we talk about the supreme power, basically these are the supreme powers. These are the live gods whom you are seeing every day. If one day sun doesn't rise, what will happen? बहुत सारी चीजों पे इफेक्ट पड़ जाएगा. Energy is coming from there. So ultimately sun, moon, this water, one day you don't drink water, will you be able to survive? मान लो ज्यादा से ज्यादा बहुत प्रैक्टिस है तो 2 दिन सर्वाइव कर लोगे, 3 दिन सर्वाइव कर लोगे, but after that, so these are gods. What about this earth? This is also one of the god. So just connecting, and the same thing I told you about mindfulness, you connect with these things. How many of you practice just watching sun in the early morning? Just watching. ये अलग बात है कि कहो कि अरे वाह कितना ब्यूटीफुल है, अरे वाह, अरे छोड़ो यार नींद ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट. जस्ट ट्राई टू वॉच एवरी डे एंड सी. पहले के टाइम में हम लोग जो है छत पे, कई बार एसी वेसी होता नहीं था, छत पे चले जाते थे सोने, एंड दैट यूज्ड टू गिव एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी फीलिंग, एक अलग तरीके की फीलिंग, क्योंकि ऐसे आप जब आकाश को देखते हो ना, तो आई डोंट नो, आई कैन नॉट explain you it in words. So sometimes you should just observe the sky.
yes.
Sometimes just observe the sky. Sometimes just observe rising sun or sunset or moon or stars. उनको देखो, तुम्हारे अंदर एक अलग सी फीलिंग आएगी, एक अलग सा, एक क्या बोलूं, एक हैप्पीनेस आएगी. That is different. That you cannot get any from any other source of in this materialistic world. उनसे नहीं मिलेगा, ठीक है. That is going to give you a different kind of feeling. So anyway, with this we'll end this session, and thank you guys for listening. We will discuss about